that which lies beyond civilization.
8:30?
We said 8 o'clock.
Hello, Dad.
Get a hug?
Robbie's got a paper, which he's yet to begin.
I just gotta type it up.
You just gotta start writing it first.
Take care of our kids.
You got nothing to worry about.
War of the Worlds, 2005.
One of the movies by Steven Spielberg that makes you go, oh yeah, Steven Spielberg did like a lot of movies. And we don't always talk about all of them. It's not a bad movie. It's a fine movie. Yeah, I think very noticeably in this case, whereas before, as we said, the aliens very definitively play the role as the English society in this English novel. Here the aliens are essentially playing the role as the 9/11 Arabs. Like, I mean, essentially, or Iraq or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily put too much on Spielberg. He is a famously liberal man who probably protested Bush back in the day, but there's a very clear, this is not saying, oh, watch out, the aliens are a cautionary tale for we might become them. This is very much saying the aliens are a cautionary tale because we need to be ready to fucking kill them.
We need to be ready to justify warfare against another.
Yes.
And I think crucial to this argument that it is specifically terror cells that over the last couple decades prior to the movie being made embedded themselves in American society. Like, there's a strong, they were here the whole time. Because over and over in this movie, there are references to the pods that the aliens put under the earth thousands of years ago that just needed to be activated by the pods that are shot down.
Right, so the mechanics of the invasion, as we said in the original, the mechanics of the invasion were essentially the aliens had giant fucking cannons that they shot drop pods full of alien warriors onto Earth that landed, the aliens came out, blah, blah, blah. In the 2005 movie, uniquely, not following the radio broadcast or the novel, it is established and, as you said, repeated multiple times, the pods were somehow buried on Earth some inordinate amount of time in the past, and that the aliens themselves, like, are individually coming down as bodies to enter the pods from space. It's not given how exactly that happens.
It's always off screen.
Well, it's through lightning strikes or whatever, but like, yeah, somehow the aliens are transported to Earth, but the pods are already here, and it's a very weird detail that rationally, for my sci-fi brain, doesn't make much sense, but it certainly lends itself to this insider infiltrator narrative. It's an interesting, purposeful detail to add.
It was a huge narrative after 9/11 that these radical Islamic terrorists had come over here in the decades following the Afghani-Soviet war, and through their process of getting green cards and getting the ability to fly planes but not land them, and that they were all around us in our society and could basically strike at any time, that they embedded themselves within our American society, and their grand plan was to destroy it, and that they'd planned it the whole time, way before the terrorist attack happened.
It's a narrative in which America gets to be a bona fide victim that then wins, deservedly, which is a narrative that after 9/11 we were all feeling.
This was the age of 24. This was the age of, you know, all these like spy movies, super soldier movies. There was so much like marketed patriotism, and there was so much, just like fear mongering, and it slid its way through in almost every facet of American culture at the time. That was sort of the context in which the movie arose out of, and so what's the movie then?
Oh my god, it was produced by Kathleen Kennedy? That's funny.
There's nothing living in that direction!
They've been planning this for 1 million years. And these are only the first. They'll keep coming.
So, as you might have heard in the trailer, it is starring Mr. Tom Cruise, who plays Ray Ferrier, a divorced longshoreman.
Yeah, he is extremely divorced.
He is the worst father I think I've possibly ever seen depicted. When I think of bad dad movies in the 2000s, I think this is a really bad dad movie.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, you don't see a lot of his hobbies or interests. Like, he's not, like, going to strip clubs or, like, getting drunk or anything. It seems like neglecting his children is his alcohol and hookers. Like, it seems like he just lives to be kind of, like, unlikable. I don't know. It's a weird bad dad character. Because it's like, I don't even know what the fuck his problem is. He just is like... He seems to, like, live right by his kids. And his wife's dropping him off to go to a place. And
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. And, you know, makes his son, like, play baseball with him. And then, like, gets pissed off at his son and, like, tries to fucking beat him. Like, tries to just fucking... pick him off. Like,
and he ends up throwing the ball through the window.
Yeah. His daughter is Dakota Fanning. He barely gives a shit about her. Like, no one's really interested. It's not a very interesting movie. It has a lot of the Spielbergian, like, fucking zoom in on someone's face reacting to a thing before you see the thing they're reacting to. And that's how he creates tension, along with, like, a swell of John Williams music. It has, like, the Spielberg beats. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what anyone, like, wants out of their lives. I don't know what anyone's goals are. Like, Dakota Fanning is just, like, a little kid.
Okay, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but we know what the son wants.
Right, but that just seems to be a thing he thought of. Like, gets a single-minded idea that he's going to just join the army by, like, walking up to the army guys as they're fighting the aliens and going, "Hey, can I help?"
Yeah, they're in full camo.
They're actively shooting, or, like, in vehicles, just flying down the road, and he's, like, running after them, like, they're gonna just be like, "Oh yeah, kid, get in the car." Like, I don't know, like, and it's not like before he, like, shows up and, like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, it's an application to West Point. Oh, you want to go to West Point? Yeah, Dad, it's the thing I want. You would know that if you were a person in my life." It seems like, oh, the aliens attack, so he suddenly wants to fight them. But it doesn't seem like that's, like, a thing that's been in his life or anything.
There is this alienness to the way masculinity is presented in this, because it just seems to be all impulse. Like, the way that Tom Cruise performs his masculinity is just throwing a baseball as hard as he possibly can at his son, and then his son, as equally impulsive, just decides to run up to the army and be like, "Pick me up, let me go with you. I want to fight them because they deserve to die, because I am running and scared for my life for the first time in my life. I have just bloodshot eyes and desired death on these
Right,
Martians."
like, and it gets to the point where there's a scene where he is just insistently running towards this active battlefront as Tom Cruise is physically holding him down. And meanwhile, like, another set of people are taking Dakota Fanning away because they think she's a fucking abandoned child, because Tom Cruise is busy fighting his son to try and stop his son from getting killed for no reason.
I know you want to fight. I know it seems like you have to, but you don't. Don't!
And finally, Tom Cruise is like, all right, I just gotta fucking let you go and die.
Well, it again with the 9/11 imagery,
but it's like played as this like swell of like, oh, Tom Cruise is finally like understanding his son, but it's like there's nothing established about any of these fucking characters where it's like, oh, Tom Cruise doesn't know these interests that his kids have. But then he learns it later on. Like, it just never happens that way. It's a very lazy movie for Spielberg. Again, it's fine. You can watch it all the way through and you won't be bored. Everyone in it is a very weirdly written character.
it's a very on-the-road movie. It's like a road trip traveling movie and a disaster movie in one. And it doesn't really retain much of the original War of the Worlds almost at all.
Yeah, it has the aesthetics, tripod walkers that shoot quote-unquote heat rays that I don't even think they ever call heat rays.
They just vaporize people.
Yeah, no one calls them heat rays, which sucks.
Best part was right before the going over to the army situation when Tom Cruise runs into Tim Robbins.
Yeah, that was after because it was just
Dakota Fanning.
It was just Dakota Fanning
Okay,
at that
so
point.
there's a scene where Tom Cruise gets motioned to by a very crazy looking Tim Robbins who is covering his face and trying to hide out in his basement. He's basically like a survivalist who's living in his basement and readying to fight against aliens who come into his house.
He's the guy from Gun Nut guy from Tremors. Burt Gummer is his name.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize the name that they gave to him, Harlan Ogilvy, is the character from the book who's the astronomer.
And the other reference, I think, is he's a direct reference to the one guy played in the radio broadcast as well. There is a survivalist character that kind of gets introduced in the third act of the radio drama that doesn't exist in the book, but he also exists in the 2005 movie. So in that way, it's kind of a direct reference to the radio broadcast. But incidentally, he also reminds me of Michael Gross's character from Tremors. He's the dude who has been keeping guns in his basement for fucking years, and then the shit hits the fan, and hey, guess who's right all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But also because it's Spielberg, he's not actually right.
I thought it was the best scene because Tim Robbins does a great performance.
Well, which scene in particular are you talking about?
Well, when Tom Cruise has to stop him from shooting him, I really loved Tom Cruise fighting silently with Tim Robbins as the aliens are like going through papers and stopping him from shooting the aliens. When I think about this movie, because I saw this a number of years ago, I think about that scene because it's extremely Spielberg in that you have this like oblong metallic creature that's scanning and making and doing this like probe before the aliens come in, and the tension is you have to keep out of the line of sight
and keep quiet, and the camera's constantly panning around following the action. Specifically the kitchen scene from Jurassic Park is probably the closest thing I can think of to it.
It also reminded me a lot of Minority Report, also with Tom Cruise, because there's a lot of water and there's a lot of... it's a great scene. And it's a very tense scene. And if you watch this movie for any scene, it's probably the one that impacted me the most and really showcases and highlights Spielberg's strength as a director.
And then, the element being that fucking Yokelly McYokel is just like, I'm gonna fucking kill him and put him on my barbecue. And like Tom Cruise is like, no, shut the fuck up. You can't shoot guns, they'll find us, there's more of them. And he's like, oh, you sound like a Hollywood fucking pussy liberal.
Tim Robbins is great.
Then like eventually like Tom Cruise like makes Dakota Fanning like sing a song to herself as he like chokes Tim Robbins to death behind while she's not looking because he like keeps making noise because he just wants to kill the aliens so bad.
Through this process, they also find out that the aliens are doing the classic alien thing of blood harvesting.
Well,
humans.
They seem to be using humans as fertilizer for some mysterious plant that, like, they're growing.
Yeah.
Appears to be the process.
And there's, scenes that are kind of classic and tropey now of, like, just picking people up and taking all their blood out and using it, and Tim Robbins is just like, my blood, no one's stealing my blood, it's my blood.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many good lines with Tim Robbins.
Yeah, that bit was like probably the funnest part of the movie. It's like a trope from like the 80s where you always had these like kind of survivalist guys that like all of a sudden like aliens show up and they're like, all right, yeehaw, motherfucker.
Yeah. I've been living for this moment.
Yeah.
And then Tom Cruise gets captured by the aliens, gets put in a big cage. Dakota Fanning's like, don't leave me, Daddy. And he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna blow the aliens away. And then he takes a grenade, gets sucked up by the aliens, takes the pin out of the grenade, and then blows the aliens sky high. Everyone escapes, and then the aliens die because they all get, poisoned?
I mean, Earth germs, again, it's the same ending as all of them. It's also the same, like, stupid remark of all of them that is, like, H.G. Wells' remark of, like, oh, how ironic that the meanest, most small creature, the bacterium, can defeat this threat. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's pestilence. Like, it does that. It actually shows up kind of throughout history as, like, one of the most important factors.